Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. We love to take your suggestions, so today we're going deep on something you all flagged as super interesting.
Oh, yeah.
AI learning to critique its own work.
It's fascinating.
Isn't that wild? Like, what if your computer could tell you your code's wrong,
Yeah,
but also, actually help you fix it?
right.
That's what this research on CTRL is exploring.
Yeah.
We're diving into excerpts from the paper, teaching language models to critique via reinforcement learning.
Okay.
So we can all understand just how it works.
It's like giving AI a built-in editor, right?
Exactly. Not just like a simple yes or no, whether something's right or wrong.
Yeah, like going beyond that.
And the paper really starts by highlighting some limitations of how we've been training AI so far.
Okay.
Like reward models that just give a score,
Uh-huh.
this code is 7 out of 10 good.
Right.
That doesn't really teach the AI how to improve.
No, it's like giving a grade without any feedback.
Yeah.
So not super helpful for
Yeah.
actually learning up.
Not at all.
CTRL is trying to fix that with a two-stage approach.
Okay, so let's break that down.
Sure.
First, there's critique synthesis.
Yeah.
The AI essentially analyzes why something failed.
Uh-huh.
Like it's a code detective,
Yeah.
coming up with feedback based on that analysis.
They use an AI called Quen 2.5 Coderins
Oh, cool.
as an example in the paper.
Pretty neat.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it gets even more interesting in the second stage reinforced critique generation.
Right.
This is where the AI learns which critiques actually led to improvements and gets better over time.
Like it's learning to give good advice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So does this actually work?
Well,
I mean, the paper mentions some impressive results.
yeah.
Like CTRL achieved an 11.76% pass rate on this super hard coding benchmark code contests.
Right. And that's a huge jump
Right.
from the 7.88% they got with zero-shot generation,
Okay,
where the AI has to solve the problem with no feedback at all.
so it's learning.
It's definitely learning.
Oh.
And what's even more impressive is how it avoids those snowballing mistakes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, with other methods, the AI might try to fix one error and then end up introducing another one.
Okay.
It's like a game of whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
But CTRL keeps those errors in check.
Right.
Which is really key for making sure that the AI is actually learning and improving.
It makes sense because you don't want to be constantly fixing old mistakes while making new ones.
You got it.
So how does CTRL manage to avoid that?
Well, if you take a look at Figure 4 in the paper,
Okay.
it shows how CTRL keeps the error rate consistently low compared to other approaches.
Oh, wow.
And it's because it's not just identifying errors, it's understanding why they're wrong
Uh-huh.
and offering more targeted advice.
So this could seriously speed up AI development, right?
Absolutely.
Less time fixing bugs means projects get finished faster,
For sure.
and then the AI is more reliable as well.
Right.
And that's super important.
Imagine self-driving cars.
Yeah.
Or medical robots. You want to avoid those cascading errors in those situations.
Absolutely, no kidding.
Yeah, high stakes.
And here's another thing that blew my mind, this weak to strong generalization idea.
Oh, yeah.
Even a less powerful AI, when trained with CTRL, can actually guide a much stronger AI to produce better results.
That's right. It's like having a junior editor giving feedback to a Pulitzer Prize winner.
Wow.
The editor may not have the same level of experience, but they can still offer fresh perspectives
Right.
and insights that the writer might have missed.
That's a great analogy.
So it could change how AI teams actually work,
Oh,
making expertise more accessible.
So it's not just about one AI getting smarter. It's about a whole network of AIs learning from each other.
That's the idea.
That is super powerful.
And we're not just talking about code here.
Oh, really?
Right? The researchers also tested CTRL on a general knowledge benchmark called Judge Bench.
Okay.
And it performed surprisingly well,
Interesting.
even going head-to-head with much larger models like Claude 3.5 Sonnet,
Wow.
especially when it came to coding-related tasks.
So even though it was mainly trained on code, it could hold its own on general knowledge tasks.
It seems that way.
That's amazing. What does that tell us about how CTRL is actually learning?
Well, it seems like CTRL is learning something fundamental about what makes a solution good or bad,
Okay.
regardless of the specific task.
That's fascinating.
And that's a big step towards AI that understands the why behind what it's doing.
It makes you wonder, right?
It really does.
If it can grasp quality in coding and general knowledge, what else could it be applied to?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
And we'll dive into that and a whole lot more right after this.
Okay, so we're back, and I think it's safe to say we're both pretty excited about this whole idea of AI learning to critique itself.
It really is fascinating.
But it makes you think about the bigger picture, right?
Absolutely.
How do we design and train these systems to make sure they're giving genuinely helpful feedback?
Right. We don't want them to just reinforce biases.
Right.
or get sidetracked by irrelevant details.
It's almost like, how do we ensure that the AI critic is actually improving the quality of the work?
Exactly.
Not just like teaching the AI to game the system.
Like, think of it like training a dog with treats.
Okay.
The dog might figure out how to get the treat without actually doing the trick.
Right.
We want to make sure that the AI isn't just like hacking the reward system to get a good score.
Without producing something meaningful.
Exactly.
And actually, the paper touches on this.
They do.
They call it reward hacking.
Right.
Which can be a real issue with AI.
We've seen it before with other systems where they exploit loopholes to get the reward without really understanding the goal.
It's like the AI figured out how to pass the test but didn't learn the material.
Exactly. It's not what we want.
No.
We need to be careful about how we train these systems and how we measure their success.
Otherwise, we could end up with AI that's technically brilliant,
Yeah.
but ultimately not producing anything useful.
Right. Or even worse, producing something harmful.
Yeah, definitely don't want that.
So it sounds like the researchers behind CTRL are aware of these challenges.
Yeah, they definitely seem to be.
They emphasize the importance of ongoing research and careful consideration of the potential pitfalls.
It can't just be a black box that we blindly trust.
Exactly. We need to be able to look under the hood and understand how these systems are making decisions.
For sure.
We need to be able to audit these systems,
Okay.
identify potential problems, and intervene if necessary.
So it's not just about letting the AI run wild and learn on its own.
Right.
We need to be actively involved in guiding its development.
Yes, and making sure it aligns with our goals and values.
Absolutely. You know what really stands out to me about all of this is that this research seems to be saying a lot about how we learn and improve, not just as AI, but as humans too.
It's true. If you think about it, we
Yeah.
don't just passively absorb information. We question it, we critique it, we refine our understanding based on feedback.
It's like that constant back and forth.
It's like the scientific method,
Yeah.
forming hypotheses, testing them, analyzing the results.
Trying something, getting feedback, tweaking it, trying again.
And revising our thinking based on what we learn.
We're always learning and improving.
Exactly. And in a way, CTRL is trying to replicate that process of critical thinking and self-reflection within AI systems.
So it's not just about teaching them to perform tasks. It's about teaching them to understand why they're doing things right or wrong.
Right. It's like giving them that metacognitive ability, that self-awareness that allows them to learn and improve on their own.
It's exciting, but also kind of scary at the same time, right?
It is definitely both. It raises all these big questions about the nature of intelligence, the role of feedback and learning, and the potential for AI to become more autonomous.
And these aren't just theoretical questions.
No, they're not.
They have real-world implications for how we develop and use AI in the future.
Absolutely.
So where do we go from here?
Well, I think transparency is going to be absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
We need to understand how these systems are learning, what data they are being trained on, what biases they might be developing.
We need to be able to audit these systems, identify potential problems, and intervene if necessary.
For sure. And that requires open collaboration between researchers, developers, policymakers, and the public.
It's not just about preventing negative outcomes, though.
Right.
It's also about harnessing the potential of AI self-improvement for good.
Absolutely. Think about the possibilities AI systems that could help us solve complex scientific problems,
Yeah.
develop new medical treatments, or even create more sustainable and equitable societies.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is. And while CTRL is still in its early stages,
Yeah.
it's a promising step towards realizing that potential.
It makes you wonder, though, if it works so well with code and general knowledge, what other areas could benefit from this kind of self-improving AI?
That's the big question, isn't it? Could we apply this to creative writing, scientific discovery, maybe even something like personal development?
The possibilities seem endless.
They really do.
And that's what makes this whole field so fascinating. It feels like we're just scratching the surface of what AI can do.
It does feel that way.
But we're not quite done yet. We'll be back after a short break to wrap up this deep dive and leave you with some food for thought. We've really gone deep, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
On this whole idea of AI self-critique with CTRL.
Yeah, tons to think about.
It really makes you wonder what the future holds.
Absolutely.
As AI gets better and better at learning and improving.
It's exciting and a little bit daunting.
Right. And so as we wrap up, we wanted to leave you with one final thought.
Okay, shoot.
We've talked about how CTRL can help AI improve its coding skills and even tackle general knowledge tasks. But imagine applying this self-critique concept to other areas.
Oh, yeah, like what else could it do?
What if AI could help us write more creative stories?
Yeah.
Or compose music? Or even accelerate scientific breakthroughs by helping researchers analyze data and design experiments?
It's mind-blowing when you think about the potential.
Right, and that's the beauty of research like this.
Yeah.
It's not just about solving specific problems, it's about opening up entirely new avenues of exploration.
It's about giving AI the tools to learn and grow in ways we never thought possible.
And that's what makes this whole field so fascinating.
It really does.
It feels like we're just scratching the surface of what AI can do.
Agreed.
And if you're as intrigued by CTRL as we are,
Yeah.
be sure to check out the show notes for links to the original research paper and other resources.
Yeah, definitely do some more digging.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of self-improving AI.
It's been fun.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep exploring.